We're joined again tonight by criminology professor Michael Kempa, who has been at the inquiry today. Professor Kempa, you've listened to Prime Minister Trudeau's testimony. What stood out to you?
Well, Justin Trudeau has been very clear, at least in his own mind, in terms of the legal nature of his decision to invoke the Emergencies Act. He has put forward a new argument today as to why it was appropriate. It's different from what we've heard from over the last couple of weeks, where he's argued that, yes, indeed, the standards for CSIS in the government are exactly the same. The thresholds are the same. The difference is CSIS and the government get different information, and that is why the government does not always have to agree with CSIS in making their decision. So he's articulated his logic, and we will see if the commissioner accepts it in his report.
And the Prime Minister certainly made mention of his fear that violence could have erupted. It was key to his decision to invoke, given all of the lead up. Is that a legally justified threshold, though, that there could be violence?
Well, that is under subsection 3 of Section 2 of the CSIS Act. Violence that is used towards a political purpose that cannot be dealt with through any other means is one of the criteria for mobilizing the Emergencies Act. So he has said that the type of violence orchestrated towards disrupting the Canadian economy, which causes damage to property in the sense that the economy is property, threatening people's livelihoods, falls within that category. I think it's a fairly compelling argument.
And finally, you've been there many days during this inquiry. You've listened to the testimony. What do you believe will come of this when they come back with the report and recommendation next year?
Well, even more importantly, perhaps, than the specific question of did the government meet the legal threshold for the Emergencies Act, we've learned that our chain of civil institutions are severely compromised. We need to improve our policing system, our policing governance system, the way that we share information between our cities, provinces, and the federal government. And finally, we need a better plan in place to deal with mass protest, because there's no doubt we're living in a new era where there are about 2 million people who are quite angry with the Canadian state, who have the ability to mass organize and raise funds. This will not be the last protest.
It certainly won't, as we've heard reports of a Convoy 2.0 protest planned for next year. Professor Kempa, thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight.
Thank you kindly.